Hello, good morning everyone. It's Friday. It is 9:01 and I hope everybody's as excited about this little live that I'm going to do as I am, and that it's Friday. So I'm going to give it a moment to allow some people to come on this morning. And if you don't catch the live, it's totally okay because I'm going to have a replay. But I guess maybe one of the questions that I could ask while I'm waiting for people to pop on is, what do you love about yourself? I'm going to wipe. What do you love about yourself? So if you want to put that in the comments, and you might say things like, Mary Lou, I love my amazing laugh, or I love my spirit, I love my heart. But what do you love about yourself? So I want to start there because today, February is the love month. I'm going to drink a little coffee here. It's the love month. And hi, good morning. I can't see who's on. If you want to say hello and good morning. Hi, Stephanie. So I haven't done a live in this group in a while. I'm a little bit nervous, but that's normal. You know, it's just part of getting comfortable, being able to speak on these lives. It's normal. I work through it. I did a little bit of self-hypnosis already this morning, so I love that Stephanie's watching me. And there's a few other people, but I can't tell who. So what do you love about yourself is the question that I really want to start off with this morning. Good morning, sweet sister. And then we're going to dive into what it is that I'm doing. Hi, Kat. So much love this morning. So much love this morning. I'm so glad you're on, Kat. Thank you for joining me. So what do you love about yourself? And it can be anything. My toes, my fingers, can be anything. I was just looking at the time. I want to make sure I honor the time. So most of you guys know who I am. I'm Mary Lou, and I'm going to give it one more moment here before we get started. I know a few more people are going to be joining. It's Friday. All right. So I want to keep this short. I want to keep this sweet. And I'm going to talk to you about, oh, Kat, your beautiful eyes. Yes, you do have beautiful eyes. So my name is Mary Lou Rodriguez. I am a master hypnotherapist, and I work with clients all over the world. And I'm so honored and so excited that I get to be able to serve and make impact in the way that I do. However, nothing is more important to me than my relationship with myself. That is the most important thing to me. And self-love is the foundation for everything. Self-love were the keys that unlocked it all. Every single part of my life. But it started with self-love. So people ask me all the time, hi, good morning, Stacy. People ask me all the time, what are you doing? But before I jump into what I'm doing, I just want to say that with the clients that I work with, one of the questions that I ask is, what is getting in your way of loving yourself? And I'm wondering if anybody could guess what that is, what people tell me. What do people tell me? It's the most common answer I get. I'm going to give it a moment because I think there's a little bit of a delay here. Hi, Tammy. So much love this morning. So glad you're on, Tammy. So, most clients answer with me. I am getting in my own way of loving myself. So, I want to jump in because I want to talk about what happens when you love yourself. Because when you love yourself, you believe differently. When you believe differently, you think differently. When you think differently, you feel differently. And when you feel differently, you act differently. It's this ripple effect. And that's just including yourself. That isn't even the ripple effect that it has out into the world. So The first thing that I did was I have two books that I recommend. So one book is Louise L. Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. And I read this book when I started my self-love journey. And the second book is, good morning, Molly. The second book that I recommend that I read later on in my journey is by Dr. Joe Dispenza, which is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. So I recommend those two books. If you haven't read those two books, I recommend those two books. The biggest question that people ask me in consultations when they're meeting with me is, Mary Lou, how do I love myself? And the first thing that I talk about is identity. And I know that many of us know what identity is, but I just want to share it here. Our identity is how we see ourselves, how we view ourselves, how we value ourselves. And when I started my self-love journey, I did not have a very good, I did not think of myself very highly at all. But I did know this. I knew that I wanted to love myself and that I wanted to feel worthy because, yes, you got it, Tammy. I absolutely will. I wanted to love myself and I wanted to feel worthy. So the first thing that I did was I journaled. And this was the question that I asked, which is, what didn't I love about myself? So I journaled about that because when I asked that question, all of my beliefs about what I really believed about myself came up. So I got to look at the truth of what I really believed, because I knew I didn't love myself, but I wasn't sure why, all of the things. So that particular question is really helpful because it will help you look at what you really do believe about yourself. So I changed my identity in two ways, and I'm going to keep this simple. I hope I keep it simple. I did it consciously, so with the conscious mind, and I did it subconsciously with the subconscious mind. So the conscious mind is our thinking brain. It's our analytical brain. We use 5% of it. Then there's the subconscious mind, which is where 95% of our belief, well, let me rephrase that. Our subconscious mind is where is 95% of our brain. It's where our beliefs are located. It's where our habits, our beliefs, I said that, our intuition, our spirituality, our emotions, and more. So the subconscious mind is 95% of who we are. Our subconscious mind dictates 95% of our daily decisions and actions every day. It's automatically running. There's automatic programs running. Many times we're aware, many times we're not aware of the programs that are running. So this is what I really want to say to people, because this is the thing that people really need to understand, is that you cannot outperform, you cannot out-hustle what you really believe about yourself. So it's important for us to know what it is that we really believe about ourselves, and our beliefs are located in our subconscious mind. So hopefully I kept that clear. So the question really is, this is what people are really asking me, is how do I rewire my subconscious? So I'm just going to check in here. That's really what the question is how do I rewire my subconscious? I know I want to love myself. I know I want to feel better about myself. How do I do it? So it's by rewiring the subconscious. And how do you do that? So these are my tools. There are different ways to rewire the subconscious. There's brain mapping. There's all kinds of ways. But my jam, my tools are repetition and hypnosis. Those are the two tools that I use to reprogram my mind. And the reason why I use hypnosis is because in hypnosis, we're accessing the subconscious mind where our beliefs are. Repetition. What do I mean by that? When I first started my self-love journey, I told myself over and over and over again that I loved myself and that I am worthy. I love myself and I am worthy. And I had it on my phone. I had it stickies everywhere. I had it on my bathroom mirror. I told this story earlier this week at Stacy's workshop that she had on Saturday on self-love. But I'd wake up this is how I programmed it. Because I said it so many times to myself, in the middle of the night, I remember waking up and going to the bathroom, and my first thoughts were, I love myself and I'm worthy. My first thoughts when I wake up. So I told myself through repetition all of the time what I wanted to believe because I was ready. I was ready to make that commitment. So I'm going to tell you what happens. What happens, and this is how people get in their own way, is that most people stop saying it because, and I'm curious what you guys would say to that. Most people stop saying that they love themselves and that they're worthy because they don't believe it. They don't believe it. They say it a couple days and they're like, okay, I'm ready to feel this self-love. But that's not how it works. I wish it worked. I wish it was that easy. It takes repetition and subconscious reprogramming. And it saddens me because people give up because guess what? It's easier to think those automated thoughts. So Joe Dispenza talks about this. We think 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. 90% of those thoughts are the same thoughts that we thought the day before and the day before and the day before. So it's easy for us to revert back to those old ways of thinking. It's just easier. So people stop telling themselves what they want to believe because they don't believe it and because they're not committed. That's the truth. That's the truth. So with hypnosis, though, it becomes easier because we're going right into your subconscious mind. That's why I use it. That's why I love it, because it's like the fast track. It's the fast track to changing how you want to feel. So one of the things that I did in the very beginning of my journey was that I told myself that I loved myself and I was worthy all of the time. And then in the mornings or the evenings, so I ended up buying a self-hypnosis audio. And I wish I could remember, I don't even have the self-hypnosis audio anymore, but I just bought one because I knew that I wanted to do hypnosis to reprogram my mind. So I just bought one. I'm in the midst of recording my own self-love audios amongst many other different types of audios. I'm literally doing that now. And so what I want to say to everyone is I decided this morning when I was putting my ideas together about what I really wanted to present to you that was so meaningful to me is that I want to guide you on this journey. I want to give you the tools. And I decided I'm going to do a group hypnosis session next Wednesday in the group because I want to. And because I want to help you to really embody the belief that you are worthy and deserving and that you love yourself. I mean, this is the most badass belief that I could possibly have, is that I love myself and that I'm worthy of everything that I want in life. So I'm going to do a group hypnosis audio in the private Facebook group because I want you guys to have some tools. It's going to be recorded. I'm going to do it live, but it'll be recorded so that you can listen to it as many times as you need to. So the fourth thing that I did, believe it or not, we've talked about 4 things, or 3 things already, and I'm going to recap at the end. But the fourth thing that I did was I created my own affirmations. I created my own beliefs. So the journal prompt that I gave you at the very beginning, what do you love about yourself? Or see how I think. What don't you love about yourself? I took those beliefs and I reframed them into empowering positive affirmations. So I created my own beliefs. I created what I wanted to believe, which I still do to this day. And I want to read with you a few of my affirmations. I have tons of stickies. So my first new belief, or it is a belief actually, is that my job is to grow and serve. That's what I believe my job is. I love myself. I forgive myself. I am a action, outcome, and solution-oriented businesswoman. I choose to see, interpret, and respond to the world from a place of empowerment. This is firmly embedded into my beautiful subconscious mind. I am accountable. It leads to responsibility, and I focus on staying in integrity. Because responsibility and integrity are also part of self-love. I'm not going to dive into that today, but I am responsible. I am 100% responsible for every part of my life. I have immeasurable self-respect. I can feel that in my heart. I work from a place of peace, love, and well-being. I am a person who enjoys health, wealth, abundance, and prosperity. I work less hours, I make more money, and money comes from the universe. I get out of my own way so that Source can work through me. So these have been my most recent, meaning in the last 3 to 4 months, new beliefs. So I share that with you. I didn't share all of them, but I shared most of them with you because I want you to know what I'm saying to myself through repetition and then through self-hypnosis. And I'm going to talk about self-hypnosis in another live about the power of reprogramming your mind. I believe I just sent Stephanie a self-hypnosis audio and the power of self-hypnosis. But I'm not going to talk about that today. Today, it's just the reprogramming is through an audio that I bought and through repetition. The other thing that I did is that anything that I didn't like about myself, I changed. That included alcohol. That included alcohol. I stopped drinking because guess what? I decided that I loved myself more than I loved alcohol. Maybe some of you can relate to that and maybe some of you can't, but that was a very disempowering habit and I changed it. So the other thing that is really, I just can't even emphasize this one enough, is that I stopped talking negatively about myself. I'm going to say it again. I stopped talking and I stopped thinking negatively about myself. So I want to just say this because we're always programming our mind, whether it's conscious or unconscious, whether it's intentional or unintentional. We are always programming our mind. So every time I was having these disempowering thoughts about myself, guess what I was doing? I was programming that. I was programming that over and over and over again into my brain. So as soon as I became aware of that, thank you, Dr. Joe Dispenza, I stopped. I stopped thinking negative thoughts and I stopped talking negatively about myself. Now, I'm a work in progress, but now I can hear it and I stop it and I move my attention to something more empowering. And I really do believe that I am the master of my thoughts. I am not my thoughts, I am the thinker of my thoughts. And I feel like I can move my attention so easily now to an empowering thought. And so can you. It just takes commitment, consistency, practice, repetition. And I know that if I can do it, so can you. If I can do it, so can you. So I cannot say enough how important it is for you to move your attention to something really empowering. Aw, Tammy. Aw, yes. I can almost I can feel it in my heart. And here's the thing that I shared, it's like, I don't talk about myself anymore very negatively. It's pretty rare that I say something negative about myself. I try to look at my challenges from a place of growth, from this place of what can I learn from this, not from this place of I'm going to kick myself because I'm not doing something the way that I think I should be doing it. And I cannot tell you how empowered I feel by being able to be my own best friend. Now, I know that probably sounds silly to a lot of you, but the fact that my inner voice now encourages me, guides me, loves me, supports me, I feel really, really connected to who I really am. There's always room for growth. So when I am looking at a situation, I try to look at it from how can I grow from this, not what a piece of shit I am or whatever it is. So, no, Tammy, I work with I work with everyone. I work with older adults. I work with teenagers. I work with young kids. And I love working with teenagers and young kids just because their brains are so malleable. They're so moldable. One session, and they can think differently about themselves. So I work with everyone. So I want to recap, and I want to honor time. One, I recommend reading Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself and Louise L. Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself is by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Two, look at your identity and look at how you really feel about yourself. Journal about, because this is what I did. I think I asked the question, what do I not love about myself? And then just free flow. And this is where you get to be honest. Nobody's going to read your journal. Nobody's going to read what you wrote, but you know. And then what I did was I reframed those beliefs, those disempowering beliefs to empowering beliefs. I used repetition. I used hypnosis to rewire my brain. I created my own affirmations, and then I changed what I didn't like about myself. I changed disempowering habits, and I stopped the negative self-talk. Because the negative self-talk comes from what we really believe about ourselves. That's how it works. What we say usually comes from our thoughts, and our thoughts come from what we believe about ourselves. So we're kind of backtracking. So what we believe about ourselves is what we think, and then what we say. And I know that if I can reprogram my own mind, so can you. I know it. Many of you, you've seen my transformation over the last couple of years. It takes commitment. It takes consistency. And whenever I get a little wonky, I come back to the basics. I'm like, I love myself, and I'm worthy of these empowering habits that I want in my life. So, yes, Kat, breaking the habit of being yourself. What questions do you ladies, I'm working on that. I'm working on that habit too. What do you beautiful souls, do you have any questions for me? And thank you for staying on. I hope you found this valuable, because I really do want to share with you what I do, what I did, and what I do. So I know that there's a little bit of a delay. And I'm going to see if I can read Tammy's question a little bit more. It won't let me. Who is skeptical? Yeah. So that's where I get to look at, in the consultation, when I schedule a consultation, I get to talk about, I go into depth into why hypnosis works. And after I explain it, if they're still skeptical, then usually if they don't believe that it's possible for them, there's nothing I can say. So that is where the belief part comes in. If they believe they can change, if somebody wants to change badly enough, they're going to do anything to change. And usually, not always anymore, but in the beginning, when I first started my practice, I worked with a lot of people where I was the last resort. I was the last thing that people would turn to, because hypnosis. So now it's a little bit different. I work with more like-minded individuals. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs who want to be unstoppable and courageous. So that is where I'm at. So it doesn't look like there's any questions. So I do want to say this: next Wednesday evening at 6:15 Pacific Standard Time, I'm going to be doing a mini group hypnosis session on self-love, because I want to make sure that everyone has their tools in order to be able to begin to reprogram their mind. All right, everyone. Tammy, Kat, Stacy, you're so welcome. Stephanie, thank you for everybody who was on this live. You can catch the replay, and this is my incredible life, and I get to share with people the truth, that they too can reprogram their minds. All right, everyone, have a great Friday. Kat, thank you for the love. And Thank you, Stephanie. You're so welcome. And I love you, and I love me. All right, everyone. Have a great Friday.